Hello, Triple Fivers. What you are looking at is a watch that I was incredibly excited about at the end of 2018. This is the Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical with the new Hamilton H50 movement, which has an 80-hour power reserve. This was a watch that I was really excited to get. It was an exclusive available through Uncrate, and I ordered it new because I wanted to have an opportunity to purchase this watch right away when it came to market. There's a number of reasons for it. Number one reason was that I just loved the Hamilton Khaki Field model. In particular, I have another Hamilton Khaki Field that I've worn for a long time and it's really served me well. Awesome watch. Definitely I'm not writing off the model because I'm having problems with this specific watch that I had with Uncrate. And I also wanted to bring it to the channel because I thought it was an example of a watch that some of my subscribers maybe wouldn't necessarily be familiar with because it wasn't getting a lot of press, and so I thought I'd be a unique person to maybe bring some light to this interesting new exclusive model from Uncrate. Well, as you know, I had problems with it almost immediately in the first month. And so what we're going to do in this video is we're going to actually close out the story of my Uncrate Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical with the unique H50 movement. I'm going to conclude the tale of my purchase experience with this watch. You'll find out what Uncrate was able to offer me, what I accepted. And then I'm going to do something that a lot of watch channels, either if they're dealers or if they're experts, I'm going to do something that probably is something that you're not hearing about much on the other channels, which is extrapolating some lessons that I've learned from purchasing watches new. So I'm going to be talking at the end of the video about 5 reasons to buy new related to this experience and other experiences that I've had buying watches new. So stay tuned to hear the end of the Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical saga and watch till the end to find out some of the insights that I have from this purchase experience. Okay, so there was definitely a contingent of you that was wondering how Uncrate would even react to me sending a watch back to them that was broken in the first month after the initial 30-day return, and then also with a busted up box, which, as you know, my Hamilton box was broken. The hinges just got bent out of shape for no reason. And thankfully, Uncrate was really a good sport about it. They were courteous in their initial communications, very brief, very professional. I wrote a brief explanation on the return tag that I sent back with the watch. And as soon as they received the watch, they notified me that they were offering me a total refund, not including the shipping that I spent returning the watch, which was interesting because on the invoice return form that I filled out on that ticket, I was able to select exchange or return, and I actually circled both and said, hey, if you want to exchange it, that's fine. Let me know what you want to do. And there was actually no communications from Uncrate once they received the invoice that they were going to do one way or another. They just gave me the refund. I got a notification via email that I was going to be issued the refund, and that refund went through smoothly. And I'm okay with that, I guess. That's what it comes down to, is I'm okay with the way that it worked out. I would have maybe appreciated them personally getting in touch with me and letting me know that I was just going to get a refund and if I had any questions. But, you know, honestly, just issuing me a refund at this point probably is simpler for them. And so I understand why that was their sort of automatic protocol. They didn't have to check in with me about that. Now, you might be wondering, well, am I going to go ahead and use that money and purchase the exact same watch again from Uncrate? I'm not. I'm just not interested enough in the model to go ahead and do that at this point. You can understand why I have a bad taste in my mouth. So I am going to continue wearing the Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical that I've had for years. I've had it like 6 or 7 years now. I'm perfectly happy with the watch. I recently had it serviced. It's working great. And I have a lot of other field watches that I can choose from, as you know. And by the way, I think it's very normal for a collector who's been collecting watches for over 10 years to get interested in a specific subgenre of watch, like the field watch, and start collecting within that subgenre. So I was kind of surprised at my State of the Collection video that some people were like, why do you have so many field watches? It's like, asking a Porsche collector why they have so many Porsches or something. I mean, I like the subgenre. It's an interesting one to me. Okay, so there you go. So that's the story of the Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical. I guess going out of this, I would say if you're interested in this version of the Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical, I currently recommend the one with the standard end of movement, even though it has the less impressive power reserve, 38 hours with the 2801 movement. And I probably also would recommend holding off if you're thinking about getting one with the H50 movement until maybe you could buy one from a collector who's trying to just sell it because he's not interested in it or something. But buying it new, at least my initial experience was, is that the movement has problems. Obviously, I don't want to extrapolate too much from that one single experience. But anyway, use your own discretion if you're going to buy this watch from Uncrate at this point, I would say, even though they were perfectly professional in their business interactions with me. All right, well, let's talk about 5 reasons to buy new related to this experience and also derived from other recent purchase experiences that I've had collecting watches and buying them new. I hope you find these reasons helpful, and if you're new to the channel here, I definitely would like to hear from you. I love it when people say, hey, I'm new here, I found your video from a recommended video. Let me know. I'm just curious how you found this channel, and for sure, please subscribe if you are enjoying this content, and make sure to give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this whole inside scoop on this new watch purchase experience that I've been sharing with you. But let's get into the 5 reasons to buy a watch new. Now, the first reason to buy a watch new, and this is interesting, this was something that clearly some of you didn't understand in the comments. I got some kind of incendiary comments from people saying, you should have just gotten the watch service, why are you trying to return it, da da da, along those lines. And one of the reasons to buy a watch new is so that if you don't want to go through the rather annoying process of getting a watch serviced, it's time consuming, it can be expensive with postage, there's a number of contingencies that can go wrong. Buying a watch new means you can just return it. You can give it back to the retailer if they're willing to do that, and you are free of that watch's problems completely. And I think that with a new watch, you shouldn't have problems. I think that at any level of horology, there's no acceptable point where you should be able to expect that a watch is going to have problems straight away and we just have to live with it, especially with respect to essential functions of the watch, like in a mechanical watch, the movement failing. So that's one major reason right there to buy a watch new, is because of the possibility of being able to return it as opposed to being forced into a service situation. Along those lines, the second reason to buy a watch new is just in general, there's less risk involved with buying a watch new. Not only are you lowering the risk buying a watch new in terms of the functionality of the watch, which I think should be a for sure lowest common denominator, but buying a watch new, it really is on the retailer to follow through on their end to ensure that the watch is well received and that your experience purchasing the watch is an enjoyable one. And so buying a watch new means that there's very little risk involved for you as a buyer. And I think that that's one of the reasons why you pay more, obviously, when you're buying new generally, because 100% of the risk is assumed initially by the retailer. Now, you want to make a distinction when you're collecting watches between buying a watch new on the gray market versus buying a watch new, say, from an authorized dealer. I bought from an authorized dealer, in this case with the Hamilton. When you buy a watch gray market, there are a lot of questions, possibly like how long has the watch been on the gray market? Has it been sitting on a shelf for years? Will it need a service? What knowledge does the gray market seller even have of the specific watch that they're selling you? These are all real questions, and there are in-depth videos on the gray market. I'd be happy to make a more in-depth video myself on that. Let me know in the comments below if a gray market video would be of interest to you. But let it be said that in general, buying from an authorized dealer and buying a watch new means that you are hedging the least amount of risk when you are buying a watch, and that's a second reason for collectors to buy watches new. All right, a third reason to buy a watch new as opposed to used or on the gray market is because with certain types of watches, you might be able to shop smart and get a discount on that watch new and end up not paying a lot more than what you would end up spending either on the gray market or buying the watch used. And I'll give you a specific example. The Todd Snyder Timex Marlin Blackout that I recently purchased from Todd Snyder, there was a number of sales offered on Timex watches on Todd Snyder's website around the holidays. And so if you were waiting to buy the Timex Marlin Blackout specifically from Todd Snyder and you were willing to wait till a time where they offer that watch on sale, you, with that 15% off discount, we're able to find that watch at a price at about what it's selling for on the secondary market. Now, I admit in this case, the difference wasn't significant enough for me when I was looking to buy that it mattered, so I just went ahead and bought it when it wasn't on sale. But that wasn't thrifty, and I think it's a good idea to be thrifty, and so that could be something to watch out for with watches that are known to have retailer sales, so like Timex's, for example, or Seiko's often you can get on sale. There are also at authorized dealers occasional discounts that are offered on watches that are not highly sought after. I don't know specific models from say Omega or Rolex at this present moment are offered at a discount, but I do know that having watched many collectors buy watches at authorized dealers over the years, that's a negotiation tactic that you should familiarize yourself with if you are considering a big purchase. Okay, a fourth reason to buy a watch new is if you are considering giving that watch as a gift or as an heirloom. And this is kind of more of a broader, what's the word I'm looking for? Courtesy, a broader courtesy, put it that way. Buying, say, a watch for a coworker, you're doing something very generous in doing that, and it makes sense to do that in the most courteous way as possible if you are able to. Now, obviously, there are many desirable watches that you can only buy used, so that doesn't necessarily make sense, but for a non-watch collector, it would be harder to explain why you're giving them something used if they didn't necessarily understand the intrinsic value of the thing that you're giving them. And so I think that entry-level watches are an awesome gift to someone new to the watch hobby, or if you just want to give something of lasting value. I've given entry-level watches as a gift on a number of occasions, and people are wearing those watches for years after, and one of the things that they'll remember is receiving that brand new nice watch, maybe for the first time in their life, and you gave it to them. You gave them that new watch. And so I think that for heirlooms or gifts, buying new can add to that impactful initial gift giving. And then my fifth reason to buy new, and this sort of is again an extension of some of the other reasons that I've given, is that a lot of retailers have tried to build out that experience of buying new where you're assuming as little risk as possible and getting something as nicely, completely prepped as possible by creating a luxury experience. And in the last video about the Hamilton, where I was talking about the negatives of the luxury experience, I talked about how it's fake and how it's something that you're paying for that you don't really have a lot to bring home as a result of that experience. That's all true. The one thing that might have value too, though, is the experience itself of going into a place where you're treated with kind of old-fashioned respect. There are some guys who just love getting their names on the warranty tag that they get with their new watch. If you care about having your name on a card, then that is something that is really only going to be possible if you buy a watch new. Or of course, if you buy it used and the card doesn't have anyone's name on it, you can put your name on it and, you know, la-ti-da. But the point is that some guys value that experience as a collector. To me, that's never been very important. What's much more important to me is the watch itself. But I could imagine someday being in a position where the whole rigmarole of going to an authorized dealer and picking up the watch that I had ordered and kind of enjoying the trappings of the luxury watch experience, you know, being something that I found some value in. I presently don't feel that way, and I don't necessarily think that I'm going to be buying watches expensive enough where that experience would actually be different enough that I would seek after it anytime soon. So maybe someday when I'm buying a Patek or a Lange & Son or something, when I'm buying a true luxury watch, then I can have that super high-end experience of going to a fancy dealer. But it doesn't really pan out in the same way at all when you're talking about the more mid-level watches that I collect. And I'm okay with that because it's not really the experience that I go back to when I'm looking at the watch on my wrist. The watch that I'm wearing on my wrist has subjective value to me because of the experiences that I have with the watch with my personal life, not at a mall or at a store or something like that. But your mileage may vary, so that is definitely a fifth reason to consider when you are thinking about buying a new watch. Well, all right, guys, let me know what you thought about this series on the Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical. It is a watch that has been one of the cornerstones of my collection, as I mentioned in my State of the Collection video. That model is one that I've recommended countless times. I have a couple of close friends of mine who have bought Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanicals as a result of my recommendations, and having an experience that runs counter to my initial experience with the Hamilton was something that was very enjoyable and interesting and different for me to document and to share with all of you. Let me know if you think my 5 reasons for buying a watch do make sense. If there's things that you'd add to that list, I'd love to hear it. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this series. Hope you enjoyed this video. Looking forward to getting to the next one. I have lots of great stuff in store, so please hit subscribe, hit thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and thanks a lot for watching. I don't know what word I'm looking for. What's the word I'm looking for?